Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
A very good evening to you and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nenna Oragwa. And our top stories tonight. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And our first story, President Muhammadu Buhari will on Saturday, May 14, host the second Regional Security Summit in Abuja. Participants in the summit will include President François Hollande of France, who hosted the first Regional Security Summit in Paris on May 17, 2014. President Buhari and the French president, who is scheduled to arrive at Abuja on Friday on an official visit to Nigeria, will be joined at the summit by the presidents of Cameroon, Niger Republic, Chad and Benin Republic, the United States, Britain, Equatorial Guinea, the European Union, ECOWAS, the Economic Community of Central African States, and the Gulf of Guinea Commission will also be represented at the summit, which will have the successful conclusion of ongoing military operations against Boko Haram at the top of its agenda. Before proceeding to the summit, President Buhari will receive President Hollande and the French delegation in the presidential villa on Saturday morning. It is expected that new agreements and further defense and cultural cooperation between Nigeria and France will be concluded and signed after talks between the two countries. The federal government has assured Nigerians that none of the recovered looted funds will be allowed to be looted again. The Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, Lai Mohammed, gave the assurance in Kaduna at the second town hall meeting to mark the first anniversary of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Mohammed says the federal government is committed to ending corruption in line with its campaign promises and will be meticulous in driving the campaign, adding that so far the government's war on corruption had helped to sensitize Nigerians to the devastating impacts of corruption on their livelihood. The Minister of Interior says the federal government is working hard towards refining the Nigerian police, ensuring that the welfare of the Nigerian police is given utmost priority to have a responsible Nigerian police. Meanwhile, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development says the federal government will soon initiate an intervention fund for the mining industry and will also revive the Ajaokuta steel industry to create jobs for Nigerian youth. On the spot, the Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, says the federal government is working towards adding 2 more satellites in Nigeria's one currently in orbit to serve the information technology sector. The Minister of State, Budget and National Planning and HEPAT says the federal government is developing a plan to boost private sector investment in tourism, entertainment and sports. The town hall meeting is expected to go around the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Still on the town hall meeting, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, has again apologized to Nigerians for the prevailing long queues for petrol, saying that all is being done to address the situation. Kachuku, alongside 5 other ministers, rendered account of what had been done in terms of government policy since the inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration during the second federal government town hall meeting in Kaduna State. Kachuku told the gathering that the 3 refineries in Nigeria are back and working together for the first time in almost a decade. He, however, pointed out that a lot more work still needs to be done to get into the level of performance that he wanted. Investment in power infrastructure by the new investors is a vindication of the decision by the federal government to move the power sector to a private sector-driven one and out of government's total control. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, also adds the government is satisfied with the performance of investors in terms of maintaining the inherited infrastructure. This goes Still on the power sector, the next few months will witness an aggressive meter rollout by all the distribution companies across Nigeria. This is one of the major highlights of the 5th Power Sector monthly meeting in Shiroro Hydropower Dam. Our correspondent Kazim Kasali reports that the issue of metering and what has come to be known as estimated or crazy billing in some circles was top of the agenda at the meeting.
We must be able to take decisions. This is just about leadership. So if you are in one area, a disco, a genco, transmission company, you have problems, meet in the area. Let's solve the problems there. Take leadership.
He imported 26,000 meters, which are now being deployed as I speak in the whole of our franchise.
I believe the metering programs, not only of ourselves, but of other discos, is going to accelerate very quickly now over the coming.
We now move on to security matters. The Defense Headquarters has doused online reports the members of the Boko Haram sect had been granted amnesty, stating that the reports are false and has called for the public to disregard the information. The acting director, Defense Information Brigadier General Rabi Abubakar, says the decision to rehabilitate repentant members of Boko Haram is based on the United Nations Convention and could not be considered as amnesty. He emphasizes that the Defense Headquarters came up with an initiative, Operation Safe Corridor, in a bid to rehabilitate and reintegrate repentant terrorists back into normal life. Bubakar urges the general public to disregard these insinuations as an initiative. Operation Safe Corridor should not be taken as amnesty. The Niger Delta Avengers Group has described itself as a group of educated and well-traveled individuals that are poised to take the Niger Delta struggle to a new height that has never been seen in the nation before. The activities recently have raised many questions about the militants who are back to the creeks to perpetrate nefarious activities at the detriment of the nation at large. However, analysts on our flagship show examine their plight and a better means for negotiating the agitations. Our correspondent has more in this report.
Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, now the Niger Delta Avengers, many insecurity challenges confronting the nation at this crucial time. On our morning flagship program called Digest, analysts examine the resurgence of Niger Delta militants called the Avengers.
So government should not condone this issue for one day. Why? Because we cannot allow this type of things to go on. It affects the government, and it affects the people, and it affects the ordinary people. That's my problem, the ordinary people.
The intelligence arm of the Federation has a question to answer. There's a lot of corruption. They need to be sanitized. Okay. That's why somebody could get up and threaten everybody.
Is there any solution to this problem?
You are busy blowing up their pipelines. You think they will come back? You are destroying that whole place with all these activities. But before they destroy themselves, I get government has it a duty to go and put sanity to that place. Enough of this madness.
I won't support you giving 2 months or 3 weeks, 2 weeks ultimatum and expect that all these things should be done. Yes, you have stated your case, fight it for a longer time. People will listen to you. Now publish it and we will listen to you.
Callers on the program share their views.
If you go there, you shed tears. I was hearing the other man talking. You see, let me tell you something. That problem has been there right from the beginning. And the Nigerian government are not ready to solve. And Nigeria is a place that if you don't keep up arms, nobody will listen to you.
We need to go to the community, react with these people, and see how their problem could be met. It's not about threatening them. It's not about inviting all the army chiefs and all that. That will not solve the problem.
It is the expectations of Nigerians that the president will take the matter seriously before it becomes a major challenge.
The federal government says it will harmonize tuition fees in all federal universities to stop arbitrary charge of fees by some university authorities. The Minister of Education, Adamu, made this known while addressing journalists today in Abuja. He discloses that the federal government has summoned the authorities of the universities to discuss pressing issues. Adamu decried excessive fees charged by private tertiary institutions in the country, however explained the government does not have the power to regulate fees in the sector. On the industrial peace that has prevailed in the education sector since the inception of the Buhari administration, Adamu attributed it to partnership with the unions. The minister stressed that the government would strengthen partnership with all the unions in the sector to sustain the existing industrial harmony. Still ahead in the news tonight, EFCC witness Michael Wetkes brings more allegations against the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Bring details of this and more after this break.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station. With over 7 billion of world population and still counting, the world needs to hear you now than ever. Whatever your ministry or vision is, Gospel Africa will help get you there faster than you think possible. For inquiries and participation, contact 009 503 3859 or 0812 076 0011 or visit www.gospelafricang.com. Gospel Africa, your #1 media solutions for the church today. Gospel Africa, showing on this station at this time.
Glad to have you back. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. A quick recap of our top stories. For these top stories and more than news stories and information, join us on the social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG, and on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV Live Space News. The witness of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Michael Wetkes, testifying against the Senate President Bukola Saraki's insisting that accused failed to declare his property located at number 15 McDonald Street, Ikoyi, Lagos, in his asset declaration form. Wetkes, being cross-examined by Saraki's counsel, Paul Erokoro, confirmed this early evidence. The Senate President made an anticipatory asset declaration before becoming Kwara State Governor in 2003. The Minister directed the country's anti-corruption agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to launch full investigations into the alleged misappropriation of global fund grants Nigeria received from 2010 to 2014. The Minister of Health, Isaac Adewale, says President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive as part of government's efforts and commitment to fight corruption in the country. The President has also directed the Secretary to the Government of Federation to review earlier audit report from the Office of Inspector General. Consequently, the Secretary to the Federal Government has set up 2 investigative panels to look into the affected programs and the financial transactions. The first panel, headed by Isaac Adewale, will conduct in-depth review of all programs, while the second panel, chaired by the Auditor General of the Federation, Samuel Ukura, will review all financial transactions during the period. The 2 communities are expected to submit the report within 4 weeks. Resident doctors will embark on a 5-day nationwide strike from Wednesday, May 11 to Monday, May 16, 2016. The president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Adamu Askira, discloses that despite a series of negotiations between officials, the Nigerian Medical Association and the presidency, the doctors will still have to go on the one-on strike to press home their demands. The Nigeria Labour Congress says it is going to use industrial actions, including nationwide strike, to press home its demand of the 56,000 naira minimum wage proposal to the federal government. While speaking at a symposium organized by the Joint Action Front in Lagos, the NLC lampooned some state governors over their inability to pay the initial 18,000 naira minimum wage, whereas some other states are increasing salaries. The incremental electricity tariff also formed the focus of discussions, asking the federal government to expedite action and face mass protest from Nigerians. Our correspondent, Victoria Solomon, has more in his reports.
It is an unusual gathering bringing together civil societies, activists, labor unions, and legal activists. The main focus of the symposium is the increased electricity tariff, fuel scarcity, and the salary scale of Nigerian workers. Different speakers lay bare their hands on these issues as to why the federal government must get its act right on electricity.
If I'm using electricity, let me be in control of my own electricity. Let me have a prepaid meter that at least I'll be able to know if I think what I'm using is too expensive, I can afford to remove it. But the government is still finding it difficult to give us prepaid electricity, prepaid meter. Then something must be wrong somewhere.
On the 56,000 naira minimum wage, the NLC leadership frowns at the inability of some states to pay 18,000 naira, stressing, however, that the newly proposed minimum wage must be adhered to by government at all levels. He adds that the labor union will stop at nothing to get its demands met, even if it requires going on strike.
All employers must pay salaries as a when due, and they must also pay current salaries. And for the governors who are not paying, it's not because of inability to pay, but it's lack of willingness to pay. Because I'm talking to you with limited resources, they are still allocating money to pay contractors, cost of funding for the project.
While the government says it is still studying the proposal of the labor unions, queues for fuel, which are getting longer, and electricity supply dropping low day by day, also call for renewed intervention from the government. Victoria Solomon, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, has called on motorists to maintain safety on the roads at all times. Speaking at an FRSC awareness campaign in Lagos, the sector commander, Lagos State Command, Hygenius Omeje, urged commercial drivers to desist from reckless driving and overspeeding and to ensure that their vehicles are in good condition. Our correspondent, Akin Obakeye, was at the awareness campaign and now reports.
From the Sector Command Office in Ojudu, through Agidingbi Road, down to Lagos Television Office in Alausa, the Federal Road Safety Corps, Lagos Command, embarked on an awareness walk, sharing flyers and handbills with a slug, "If we don't kill overspeed, overspeed will kill us," to all road users through the route. The campaign to enlighten road users on the dangers of overspeeding and reckless driving has been on for some years, and according to the Sector Commander, the FRSC intends to continue the awareness campaign.
The whole essence is to drum it home to everyone, all road users, stakeholders, that we need to be more careful on the road. We need to watch our speed. Speed thrills, but speed kills.
He further calls on commercial bus drivers to avoid taking alcoholic substances.
And I also want to use this opportunity to appeal to the motoring public that the campaign of road safety should not just be something left for we as uniform personnel. That road safety is a shared responsibility.
With the call for drivers to reduce speed and adhere to the Road Use Act, it is expected that passengers carry out their due diligence before boarding any vehicle. Akin Obakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The wife of the governor of Lagos State, Bolanle Ambode, is condemned in the strongest possible terms the vexed issue of domestic violence, which has continued to rear its ugly head in the state and across the country. She made a denunciation in Alausa, Ikeja today against the backdrop of one Lake Shonde who allegedly beat his wife to death at the Egbeda suburb of the state last weekend. The visibly distraught wife of the governor advises any woman who finds herself in an abusive relationship to retrace her steps when it was still possible. Also, she says domestic abuse should not be viewed as a social problem but as a criminal justice issue. Bolanle Ambode commiserates with all victims of domestic violence, including families of those that died, urging any woman going through such troubled marriages to approach the state's office of the public defender, Minister of Justice, Minister of Youth and Social Development, or the Minister of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation for legal assistance at no cost. We now move on to politics. Late last week, the Southwest leaders of the People's Democratic Party called a meeting in Akure to discuss and chart a way forward for the party in the Southwest region as it prepares for the future. The meeting, convened by the duo of Governor Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State and his counterpart from Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, had in attendance notable figures of the party in the Southwest region, and the Akure meeting actually dwarfed a rival leaders meeting convened by Buruji Kashamo in Ijebu-Igbo, Ogun State. While the Akure meeting called for unity among the Southwest PDP leaders, the party gets set for the future. Our correspondent Adeleke Olagbami, who was at the Akure meeting, examines the real cause of disunity among the PDP leaders in the Southwest. Away from that, we now move on to what happenings in Abia State, where traders at Ariara International Market, Aba, have raised an alarm over the alleged planned demolition of the market by the Abia State government. Addressing journalists at Aba, the chairman of the National Association of Nigerian Traders, Ariara International Market, Michael Anibogo, described the action as unnecessary. He said the traders would resist any attempt by the committee set up by government to demolish their shops because it is their only source of income. The traders urged the government to focus on fixing the deplorable roads as well as upgrade facilities in the market. However, in a swift reaction, the chairman, Abia State Market Development Committee, Solomon Wigwe, disclosed that the government has no intention to demolish the market, but noted that the sections to be brought down include illegal structures erected in the walkways and drainages. Wigwe said exercise would be carried out in phases and aim to develop the existing markets to an enviable standard. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break now and we'll return with more stories. To stay with us.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
Angela, that's a great question.
Great question, Angela. Angela, that is a very great question. That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, very good question. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
That's an interesting question.
This is an interesting question you pose.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360.
2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Away from our local stories, we now move on to the foreign scene. We sincerely apologize for that. We'll take another break now, return with more stories. Do stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
With over 7 billion of world population and still counting, the world needs to hear you now than ever. Whatever your ministry or vision is, Gospel Africa will help get you there faster than you think possible. For inquiries and participation, contact 009 503 3859 or 0812-076-0011 or visit www.gospelafricang.com. Gospel Africa, your #1 media solutions for the church today. Gospel Africa, showing on this station at this time.
You know, Angela, that's a very difficult question.
It is difficult to respond to that question.
Angela, that's a great question. Great question, Angela.
Angela, that is a very great question.
That's a great question, Angela.
Okay, that's a great question.
Yeah, very good question.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
That's an interesting question.
This is an interesting question you pose.
60 Minutes with Angela. Again, answers to every question you always wanted to ask.
CoreTV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
Download CoreTV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back on the foreign scene. New airstrikes on the town of Binish in Italy province in Syria's northwest have killed at least 14 persons. A Syrian Observatory for Human Rights disclosed that fighting also appeared to have continued inside and around the city of Aleppo, 50 kilometers from Idlib city. A local rebel commander was among those killed, although there were no immediate details about other casualties. Government forces and rebels in Aleppo have initially agreed on Monday to extend their truce for a second time, as the United States and Russia vowed to redouble efforts to end the 5-year conflict. The U.S. and Russia also agreed to try extend a February 27 ceasefire across the whole of the country. Israel's Jerusalem District Court has convicted a 14-year-old Palestinian boy on 2 charges of attempted murder after they allegedly carried out a stabbing attack on 2 Israelis. Ahmed Manasra was with his cousin, 15-year-old Hassan Manasra, who was shot dead by Israeli police after the incident on October 12 at the illegal Pisgah Ziv settlement in occupied East Jerusalem. Ahmed's father, Salih Manasra, described judgment as an unjust decision, saying that there was no kind of justice in the court's handling of the case. Ahmed's lawyer, Tariq Barutu, says the boy did not have the intention to kill anyone, pointing out that he and his cousin were merely trying to scare Israelis with a knife and that there is no evidence that he tried to stab anyone. United States and Afghan forces have freed the kidnapped son of the former Pakistani Prime Minister in Afghanistan. In a statement, the Pakistani Foreign Ministry says Ali Haider Gilani, the son of Yusuf Raza Gilani, was recovered in a joint operation carried out by the forces in Ghazni. adding that preparations are being made to return him to Pakistan following a medical checkup. The news comes just over 3 years after Gilani was kidnapped by suspected Taliban fighters in a hail of gunfire on May 9, 2013 in Pakistan, 2 days before the national election in which he was campaigning. His father was Prime Minister from March 2008 until he was sacked and indicted by the Supreme Court in April 2012 for refusing to reopen corruption cases against the then president. Gilani Sr., after the kidnapping, had complained that his family was not given security despite being threatened. Bangladesh has hung the head of the banned Jamaat-e-Islami party, Moti Rahman Nizami, for war crimes committed during the 1971 War of Independence to break away from Pakistan. The country's law minister said Nizami was hung at Dhaka's central jail after the Supreme Court rejected its final plea against a death sentence earlier this month. Thousands of extra police and bodyguards were deployed in Dhaka and other major cities to tighten security. We now move on to sports.
Power style, and that's what he delivered.
Nigeria's Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Darling, has been accused of displaying a nonchalant attitude to sports development in the country. The governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, says the sport minister is not showing much commitment to the development of sports in the country. He made a statement shortly after the fourth Okpekpe 10-kilometer road race, which the minister did not attend, having been duly invited. Oshiomhole proceeds that the minister must not sit in the comfort of an office and seminize sports, but must lead by example. About 60 marathon runners from across the 7 states in the Northwest Zone have indicated their intention to participate in the maiden edition of the Ibrahim Guzal Mini Marathon Race, scheduled for May 21, 2016 in Kaduna State. The race is organized by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Northwest Zone and is sponsored by a member of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Ibrahim Guzal. The marathon will kick off and end at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna, and will include secondary school relay race for which 15 schools have registered. Speaking on the upcoming event in Kaduna, the zonal coordinator of Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Northwest Zone, Bode Durotoye, says the marathon race has a sum of 255,000 naira prize money for the male and female categories. The race will be flagged off by the Minister of Youth and Sports, Solomon Dalong. The Kwara State House of Assembly today has urged the state government to immortalize Rashid Yekini, the late soccer giant, in view of his contribution to sport development in the country. The House made a call in its resolution after adopting a call to that effect by the House leader, Hassan Oyeleke. The House leader, while speaking under matters of urgent public importance, said the invaluable contributions of late Rashidi Yekini deserve recognition and compensation because the late soccer ambassador scored 37 goals for Nigeria and 58 appearances with active participation in many national and international soccer tournaments. All the members of the House were unanimously in their praises of late Yekini for placing Kwara on the global map with his brilliant performances in his soccer profession. Yekini, a native of Ilra in Oyun local government area of Kwara, died on May 12 at the age of 48. German champions Bayern Munich have signed Benfica midfielder Renato Sanchez and Borussia Dortmund centre-back Matt Hummels. The Bundesliga champions beat Arsenal and Manchester United to land a talented midfielder who has had a stellar season with Benfica. Bayern has paid Benfica £27 million for the 18-year-old, making him the most expensive Portuguese teenager. Hummels will join Bayern on a 5-year deal subject to medical by July. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. Thank you very much for staying with us tonight. I am Nena Oragwa. To have a beautiful night.